Welcome to Talk Travel with Heather Tate, North Mississippi's podcast for savvy travelers. Talk Travel with Heather Tate is a weekly podcast that airs every Monday on the Shark 102.3 FM radio station based in Ripley, Mississippi, and is then released as a podcast. Travel advisor and travel enthusiast Heather Tate of Whimsical Destinations gives listeners expert travel tips curated through the years of personal and professional experience. By clicking subscribe, you'll have a new travel tip to add to your collection delivered to your podcast library every Monday. Talk Travel with Heather Tate is brought to you by Sun Bear Studio. Sun Bear Studio is a boutique recording studio in the heart of Ripley, Mississippi. When you record with us at Sun Bear Studio, we can mix, master, register, and publish your music, your podcast, or your family story. Email us when you're ready at sunbear@jc.media.
Good morning, Northeast Mississippi travelers. This is Heather with Talk Travel with Heather Tate, and I am so excited to share my adventures and tried and true tips with you, whether you are also a seasoned traveler, a hopeful traveler, or currently an armchair traveler, meaning you're going to follow along with us from home for now. This is our 186th episode of Talk Travel with Heather Tate. And this week, I want to share with you my travelers, my guests' top choices for adventures this year. So where is everyone booking for 2026? We are in the middle of wave season, which is the time of year when most people book their trips for the entire year, not just spring or summer, but through from January to early to mid-March is considered wave season for people booking the entire year. So I'm going to share with you some of the most popular destinations my travelers are booking and where I predict may still become popular later on. So first off, I'm going to take my three most popular islands for the year because I have a lot of travelers that go to the Caribbean. That's probably my number one destination right now. And I would say overall, Jamaica is still number one for popular destinations for this year. It is rebounding very well from the hurricane. This currently is peak travel season in the Caribbean. From December to April is peak. But I have a lot of clients that go to Jamaica year-round. That is one of my only islands where I will have guests every month out of the year. And pretty soon it will be every week out of the year. And some weeks it's every day of the week. So it is a popular destination for many reasons. One, it is very cost effective. You're getting an incredible experience. There's a lot of variety. You've got mountains, rainforests, waterfalls, river tubing, zip lining, bobsledding. The culture in Jamaica is like no other on earth. The music, the food, the people are so friendly. So there's no wonder that it is the most popular destination I have overall for 2026. Coming behind Jamaica in popularity for my guest will be St. Lucia. Now, St. Lucia is known as being at the Hawaii of the Caribbean, and it is also the number one honeymoon destination in the world. So a lot of honeymooners will go to St. Lucia, but that doesn't mean that only honeymooners go to St. Lucia. I have a lot of girls' trips where St. Lucia is becoming more and more popular, and families are wanting to go to St. Lucia more than ever before because, like I said, it's the Hawaii of the Caribbean. But you have the advantage of it being closer, only a 4-hour flight from Atlanta nonstop. And also they have all-inclusives. So overall, then it's a better bargain than going to Hawaii, even though you're going out of the country. So you do need passports for Jamaica, St. Lucia, and our third one, which this is the first time I would say this destination is my number 3 in popularity, and that is Barbados. So this is a surprise, but it is recognized. Condé Nast Traveler is recognizing it. Others are recognizing it for an up-and-coming destination for 2026 that is most popular in the Caribbean. It's already known as being the culinary capital of the Caribbean. It is the only island in the Caribbean where there's a sandals resort located that has lobster season year-round. So there's a reason in and of itself. It's known for scuba diving, snorkeling, sea turtles, shipwrecks that make for very interesting dive locations. So there's a lot of interesting things to do both in the water and on the island itself. And also, there's going to be a beaches resort coming to Barbados in the not so distant future. So this is going to be a destination to watch. All right, if we're talking outside the Caribbean, maybe just for a moment, I would say Disney is really picking up again for my travelers. It slowed down a little bit during the few years of the pandemic. Last year really picked up, and then this year is set to be my biggest Disney client traveling year in years. Maybe one reason, better pricing, lots of deals right now. There's free dining for kids ages 3 to 9. There's also special promos where you can get 2 free nights and 2 park days if you're staying 6 nights. So there's lots of special promotions right now that can help with the pricing. Also, not just Disney World, but Disney Cruises are on the upswing for their better pricing, probably due to there's more Disney ships than ever before, and that's helping the pricing of some of the original ships. So I have a lot of guests who before Disney Cruises would have been outside their budget that they were comfortable with, that now they're saying can be the same or at least much closer in price to, say, Royal Caribbean. Cruises in general are really hopping right now for my guests, especially for graduation trips in the summer, a lot of last-minute spring break trips. It's just more affordable to do a cruise than anything that's going to involve international airfare. That is the heart of the matter. By the time you have a family of, say, 4, 5, or 6 people, and you're considering airfare for $700 a person round trip plus, that's about what you can take some cruises for if you're willing to drive to your port. Whether it's Port Canaveral being very popular, we do have New Orleans, which is the closest. You're just kind of limited on itineraries and which ships and cruise lines will go out of New Orleans. So if you're open to driving to Port Canaveral, the Caribbean is your oyster then. So I really encourage that. I have guests that are going to be driving or flying to Galveston, also to have access to other ports and ships. So speaking of cruises, this is my biggest year to date. And I just celebrated my 10th year in travel. It's my biggest year to date for Alaska cruises. So this is a surprise for me. Last year I had 1 Alaskan cruise. Years before I've had a few. I always have a few here, 1 or 2 here, maybe 3 or 4 on a busy year. This year I have more Alaskan cruises booked than all my other years combined already. And at first I thought, well, maybe this is just me. Maybe my travelers are, wanting to do something different. They've been to the Caribbean now. They've done a few cruises where they're looking at that bucket list, because we talk a lot about bucket list. But no, it's not just me. I was looking up some studies, and Travel and Leisure said that it is the most popular year ever for Alaskan cruises for 2026 in the summer, which the peak season for Alaskan cruises will be May to September. Why? Well, because that's when the cruises are going to go, because you have the best weather in Alaska. 16 to 24 hours of daylight, lots of wildlife, animal experiences. Why is Alaska so booming right now, or for this year? New ships combined with new itineraries. 3 cruise lines who have never sailed with who've never sailed with Alaska before. Disney has sailed with Alaska. But there are new cruise lines that have never sailed to Alaska, and they're coming for the first time. You have the Ritz-Carlton, Virgin Voyages. You also have some smaller ships, luxury yacht lines that are coming to Alaska for the first time. So it's an exciting year for Alaskan cruises. There's still some availability for this year, but if you're thinking it's too soon to try to too late to book something for this year, that you have run out of time, then let's look for 2027, because I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Next summer is when we're planning on our first ever Alaska cruise for our family. And we're going to open it up for a group trip for anyone who is interested in joining us. I'll give you some more information about that in the weeks to come. All right, so what do I predict for later on in the year? I'm expecting, in addition to everything that I've already said today, even growing even more, I'm expecting for river cruises to really pick up this year overall. Not just for me personally, but overall as a brand, river cruising is becoming more and more popular each year. So I feel like this is going to be a banner year for them. Personally, we're going on our first AMA Waterways River Cruise this November. So November 2026, there's some cabins still available for that. And I think that it's going to pick up even closer to time. And then we have another group cruise where we're going to have a tulip cruise in April of 2028. So I think throughout the year, river cruising is going to become really popular with my guests. Another reason for the pickup in travel overall, this is very interesting. According to Kayak, when they were comparing their data from 2025, the same time last year, that they have an increase of 9% in interest for flights and hotels. And one of the reasons being because airfare rates are dropping in comparison to last year. So if you're thinking, maybe this is my year to go on a bigger adventure, to fly somewhere, to travel internationally, this is the time then that you want to go ahead and order your passport or make sure that it doesn't need renewed. I have a lot of guests who are finally ready to travel internationally. They're ready to take that plunge, and they're ordering their first passports. It's easier to get passports renewals now than ever before because you can do those online if you just need to renew. So I feel like this is going to be the best year, and I don't want to jinx anything, but it's going to be the best year for travel for many reasons. Airfare going down in cost. These destinations are really doing all they can because so many of them depend on tourism, but to make themselves more tourist-friendly, traveler-friendly, and I think people are excited to travel this year. So that's all the time we have for this week's episode of Talk Travel with Heather Tate. As you can tell, I'm excited about what this new year is going to bring. If you're not already a part of our Facebook group, please join us so you can get even more tips and tricks and ideas. It's Heather and Logan Tate, Whimsical Destinations. Remember, we get one shot at this life. It's a great adventure, but you have to grab a hold of it and choose to live it. So make those memories. Take the trip. You won't regret it.
This show is made possible by JC Media, LLC in Ripley, Mississippi. JC Media owns the Shark 102.3 Classic Rock FM radio station where the show is hosted, and Sun Bear Recording Studio where the interviews are recorded. We need your feedback and support. If you listen to the podcast on a player like iTunes, Google Podcasts, or Amazon Music, please subscribe to the show and leave us a review. We also have an email in which you can share your feedback. That email is theshark1023@gmail.com. Subscribe to our podcast on your favorite app or stream episodes online at shark1023.com/podcasts. Today's episode was produced by Melinda Marsalis. It was edited by Rick Williams and engineered by Chris Marsalis. The podcast technician is Joyce Grady.